Hello Flosstube, my name is Laura and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play on this video. This is a Flosstube extra, so my normal videos come on Fridays and that's where I talk about my weekly stitching and all the fun stuff we might be doing for stitching. But welcome if you are here. I hope you enjoy flip throughs or would like to give this one a try. And if you're a returning stitching friend and you decided to watch this, I hope you like it. I hope we can share some ideas and find ways to be able to use this magazine in even more than what we see just straightforward here. So that brings me to what I wanted to talk about. I recently received this weekend, I have a subscription. I wanted to say prescription, subscription to Just Cross Stitch Halloween that I recently got this year. And so over the weekend, I received my Halloween 2024 edition. So this is now part of the subscription when you subscribe to Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I'm super excited about that. My flip throughs are slightly different. So I received this, I've looked through it multiple times. So it's not just a first impressions kind of thing. What I like to do, and if you're new, this would be something you'd find out about me. When I look at patterns for cross stitching, I use them as a jumping off point. Sometimes I change fabrics of color, sometimes I change the flosses, or maybe I pick and choose bits and pieces of patterns and work on them that way and kind of change them in some ways. And so I thought what I would do is to do the same thing with my flip throughs. So if you wanted to see an idea of that, my very first flip through was the summer edition of Just Cross Stitch magazine. And so you can kind of get a feel for what that means when I do it. Obviously, this one, a lot of the colors and the ideas and the themes will be similar because it is a holiday, a specific holiday that has specific colors. But we can throw some of that out the window or we can embrace some of it. What I do want to say is, if you like them perfectly as is, go for it. If you don't like my ideas, but you say, oh, that gets me thinking, I want to do it this way, go for it. I think we all have this just creative spark in us, and lean into it and just really enjoy it and make it part of the pleasure of the hobby if you would like to. All right, so let's get started. So like I said, this is the cover. It did come actually, you'd think it came in plastic because you don't have a label, but the label actually came off nicely. So I was able to take that off and now I just have it as is. Now, as usual with the magazine, it's broken up, well, I should say with the specialty issues, whether it's the Halloween or the Christmas. A lot of times what they seem to do is, what the sense of what I'm getting is, they break them up into sections, like little chapters, so to speak. And then they, kind of talk about those and then they show another chapter. I will show you the cover front of that, but then we're going to take a deeper dive. So this one is called Creepy Creations. So that's what the first part of that chapter looks like. Now, when I tried to do a flip through, I tried to do the whole cover up the pattern, try to show you something up close. And I realized that just didn't work for me because I would drop things and it'd be hard to see and so on and so forth. So I tried this last time, and I do this in my regular floss tubes anyway. When something is small or it's a digital thing, I use my iPad. And so that's what I'm going to do here. This way we can really highlight the patterns that are this big in the magazine, and you can see them really up close to see what you think. And we can talk about them that way. So this one is called Sleepy Bat. Now, I'm going to do my best. There we go. If I angle it a bit like this, I have a window right here. I actually had to put myself really in my corner because it is kind of that funny light today. So let's see how well we can do this. Sleepy Bat is a design by Rona Nori of Tangled Threads and Things. And isn't that cute? Now, I think, as usual, like, these are quite often just adorable the way they are. But I just kind of go from what I feel and what feels good to me. So that's what I'm going to talk about. It's never a criticism of the designer or the pattern or the finishing. It's just, in my world, this is how my brain sees it a little bit. I think this, the gray is super cute. It's a hand-dyed gray. it looks like. And for me, I think I'd want to bring out the bat a little bit more. I'd really like a kind of a sky night blue, maybe even like an opal. Or I don't stitch very often on black fabric, but I'd be curious to see what that would look like on that. And I think the bat would really pop a little bit more. Is there such a thing as black opal? I don't know. I've never really looked. I really think it's cute. So they used a kind of a silk ribbon, I believe, if I, yes. And they ruched the edges of this because it's a pillow. And then they used the same ribbon. You can see that ribbon for a hanger with it. So they, you know, kind of made it into a pillow finish, and it's an ornament. For me, I could see doing this as a flat. Now, if I didn't do it as a pillow, I would almost like to find, whoops, and that's the one thing if I'm talking about something for a while, maybe like a, is it batik? Batik? I think it's batik. I'm not sure. Kind of that fabric that maybe has, see, they took that silk ribbon, really jumps off of some of the fall colors with that. If I could find some sort of backing fabric, I think that would be really cute. And then you could, you know, you could do it as a flat fold. I like to just make them as leaners or as an ornament type of thing. I mean, a lot of these are small. I mean, this one is 66 by 46. So depending on what size you stitched it on, I think, you know, you could get it easily into an ornament size, depending on what you want to do. Okay, the next one. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to tell you was, if you're saying to me, Laura, I don't stitch Halloween. Well, if you're still with me, awesome, thank you. I looked through these patterns with an eye towards, what if I don't stitch Halloween? Are there things in here that would be really kind of cool to stitch? And there are. And there are ways to make some of them, say, fallish or autumnish, and there's one I think you could just throw out the holiday altogether and have it any time of year. So I really encourage you to not just put the limit. It says a Halloween edition, but that doesn't mean we can't like do some fun stuff with some of them. I mean, some of them, the majority of them are obviously Halloween. I mean, there's no way around it, but there are ways to fix some of them if it's a little bit more to your taste and stitching style to not stitch Halloween. This issue can still be for you, especially if you're a subscriber. Don't just think, oh, I can't use it at all. Alrighty, so this one is called Perfect Pirate for all you cat fans. I think there's several cat designs in this magazine, so my cat fans are gonna be happy. It is a design by Lindsay Whitney of Counting Puddles. And it is super cute. This one is actually finished. They show it as a hoop finish. And what they did was they wrapped the hoop with some coordinating fabric. And I think up here, I kind of cut off the picture. Those are little buttons. They actually reminded me when I first saw them as eyelets. If you had Halloween color eyelets and you have the machine, well, you can do it with a hammer and a specific like kind of chisel-y thing, or if you had like a crocodile, you could also do them that way. I think this is it's called French Country Linen. I'm not exactly sure if it's a purple or a gray. I might lean a little bit more into either the purple aspect of it or the gray aspect if I was looking for fabrics, but cute. Alrighty, so I'm doing both flipping on the page, and then, like I know in this section, they're all small, so you're going to see them as iPad pictures. So this one right here is the first one that, okay, it's a raven, and so it kind of has that idea of Halloween. Let me see if I can make sure. There we go. But this does not have to be Halloween in the least. If you're just a fan of, say, Poe or something, Edgar Allan Poe or whatever, you like to stitch ravens and you want to do, you could actually do it. So you could do it multiple ways. You can do it without the word nevermore. I think that would be really cute too. If you just wanted almost like a square item, or you can keep the word in there if you like that. I think that the moon would be really super cute as like some sort of sparkly. White etoile is actually kind of silverish. So depending on the fabric I chose, I don't know if that would be the best choice, but I know many of you are so smart about the different type of sparkle flosses out there, and I bet you there'd be a really cool sparkle if you wanted to add like a little bit of extra like shine to it. I think that would be really cute. I myself might go a little bit of a deeper blue, I think. but I find that color blue kind of soothing against the black. And I could see this easily, especially if you cut that out, it could be an ornament or, you know, a different shaped pillow. You could also, you know, maybe have don't go quite to the edges. Whatever fabric you choose, especially if it's a fun one, add a bit more of a border, and that would be a really cute framed piece too. Oops. You're going to see my table in the background so that's that. And the last one in this section is called Witchy Surprise, and it is designed by Pam Lewis of Praiseworthy Stitches. There we go. And that's just super cute. And I think I would keep that fabric, I think. I'm not sure I would change that. I don't know about the lace. I've looked at it several times, and I can't decide if the lace speaks to me or not, but that's an easy switch. If you wanted to make it a bit more rusticy, you could almost find like there are different types of wispy-ish twines and things like that. So if you wanted that look, especially kind of with the spider, and you kind of wanted that idea of like spider leg kind of things, you could certainly do something along those lines. But I think color-wise, that blue, what did they choose? What blue is that? It's Haunted by Picture This Plus. But they're obviously there's a lot of designers you could probably, or hand dyers, you could find fabric that would really work for that one. Okay, next. So this one here, again, could easily be non-Halloween which way? I want to go this way. I can see better. This is from Marumi Designs, and it is called, what is it called? I didn't put the title there. Oh, just Who. And I myself love, love, love this color fabric. But if this color scheme was not you, I could see it in a really kind of maybe a funky purple, a funky green, you know, almost like a slimish green, I'm going to say. That's not like this, but maybe a little bit deeper. Potentially. I don't know. There are so many different ways you could go with it, but this is easily, if you just like owls and you just like the look of this, it doesn't, in my mind, have to say Halloween at all. And in that case, what if you did something that was just like a general navy? If you wanted to get away, like if you're afraid if the oranges, purples, kind of the limish green were too Halloween, I would look at some other fabrics and see, just as long as, I mean, obviously with the stitch, you want something that looks good as a background for the owl and the moon, because you're seeing them. I mean, that's the fabric coming through. But I think it would just be, it's so versatile and a perfect piece if you're thinking, I don't stitch Halloween. This magazine will provide you with things besides that, if that's you. All right, next. This one is called Happy Owloween. I have to practice saying that. And this is a design by Liz Almond of Black Work Journey. So it is obviously a black work sort of piece. Very cute. Now, if you took out the words, and if I was to stitch it, I most likely would take out the words. I would take out the words, and I'd probably bring this owl a little bit slightly down and slightly over. Do you know what I mean? And then it would be a pretty close rectangle, not rectangle, square. And then, you know, and then you can choose. I'm trying to look at the bottom to see. So those are flowers, and they look like snails. It generally looks, because it kind of has that wrought iron look, it kind of says Halloween, but I'm curious if you stitched this, and I would probably change the fabric. If I was leaning into Halloween, I'd probably do like a really cool purple myself. But you could probably choose some other back and figure out how to make it fall. The pumpkins themselves are just pumpkins. And then if you were to do that, there is a little spider off here if you wanted to take that off. But I think for me, I would really lean into some fun Halloween color. Purple, I think those colors would pop off nicely, and I would just move the owl down and take that out. And I could see it, I don't know if I'd frame it if it's more square like that. I could definitely see it as kind of a leaner, or if you're a flat fold sort of person, I think that would be neat. Even, I wonder if you could put it on a cube of sorts. Okay, so this next set of 4 is called From the Dark Side. So that's the picture showing you the pieces that we're going to look at next. Alrighty, go back to my iPad. So this one is called, oh yeah, I've got notes, I've got the magazine, and I've got my iPad, and I'm trying to figure out the best order these all should go in. This one is called Happy Haunting. Now, in this one, you're stitching it. Let me fold it over so I can, in case I need to see what information. It is designed by Maria Warmke of the Stitcherhood. And I believe this is stitched on, yes, it's stitched on white. So you actually, it's full coverage except for this, the words, and the moon. If I was to stitch this, I'm thinking I would almost choose, I would choose a fabric that was either a purple like this or a fun blue or something, kind of a spooky color fabric, and I wouldn't stitch that. I would stitch the moon. I don't know if I'd stitch it in white or maybe like a kind of a deep yellow of some sort, and then you could stitch the words whatever color you want. You could match them white to white. You could match them to the color of whatever you do the moon in, if you choose to make it a color. Or you could also kind of just make it whatever you choose as the fabric. If you were to make that as the background, just make sure it contrasts nicely with that. Because if you take out the, if you make the colored, the background of, you know, a hand-dyed fabric of some sort, printed, hand-dyed, whatever, then this is all black stitching that part. And then you would just have the moon and the words that you could stitch in any kind of color you'd want. So I think that's a lot of fun. I would just kind of go at it a little bit differently if I was to do it. And I could also see, say, the moon being a sparkle if you wanted. I have this trend of sparkle with this magazine. I'm not sure why, but it just feels like moons and the like should sparkle. So if I mention that a lot, it's just because that's kind of what's in my brain. This one's called Cemetery Bands. It's a design by Kat Holland of Sprouting Lupine. And I think that, I mean, color-wise, I think the background is, the fabric is just perfect. I'm not sure that I would change anything about this one. They used a fabric from Jackson Fabric Arts. Obviously, I think they only dye in 32 count. So if you don't do 32, you'd have to choose something else. But there's lots of hand dyers that go with this kind of color scheme. I kind of like the orangish, yellowish off of the black there with that one. So that's cute. All right, next one. This one here is called Rest in Peace, and it is a design by Amanda Berry of Cobweb and Rose. There we go. So that is quite a weeping willow tree. The only kind of changes I would make, so you see the moon has some backstitch kind of eyelids. I wouldn't bother with that. I would keep the moon just completely full as is. I mean, and that's easy to change because that's a backstitch over it. So, and then I might go more navy, more nighttime with this one if I was stitching it. I think. Just because this screams outdoors to me. And so I think I'd want to do it just slightly more along the outdoor lines. Now, oops, this one's a little crooked. When I take pictures with the iPad looking over the magazine. So I've learned that I don't hold it very straight when I do that. So we're just gonna have to run with it. This one's called Memento from Donna Chavez of Stitch X Love. And this one's really cool. So do you see those corners? Those are actually metal, what are they called? They're metal corners by Tim Holtz. And I think they really make the piece. They're quite lovely. If you do not like stitching in on black, I bet you could do a deep navy. I think those silver pieces would still look really good against that. So that's fun. And it's a neat way to use a kind of a different embellishment. given the design of the pattern, the kind of that filigree-ish look of those metal corners is really kind of neat. Okay, I can hold the magazine up for this one. This is called Old Skully. And this is designed by Dio de Fantasy Dream World. And adapted for cross-stitch by La Petite Croix. I'm never going to say it. I need my French stitching friends here. Croix de Lucie. I have no idea. Forgive my pronunciation on that one. And this is really lovely. I like it as a frame. I like it quite a bit as a framed piece. It's really a lot of fun. I think I might lean into the purples a little bit more and do a very pale, either a very pale purple or a very pale green to kind of pull in the colors of the skull. They used a China Pearl Ada from Witchell on this one. And then if you didn't want it as a framed piece, I think it would be kind of cool as like, if you wanted to, is it waste canvas, the soluble, and stitch it on a bag. I think this would be a lot of fun on a bag as well. And it would look really fun in my scrapbook. And I could have I could really play off the colors in here when I was going to layer the piece if I was going to scrapbook it. So I think that's a lot of fun. All right, this next one. Oh, jeez. I have little Post-it notes, and I just ripped a little bit of the material information, but that's okay because usually I go with my own materials on this. They used a dusty green olive. All right, that's good to know. So this one is called, what is it called? It's called Even When, and it is designed by Tracy Richards of Wrought Iron Stitching. So let me come up close so you can see there's a 3-part to it, kind of a triptych. So you have that, and then it says, Even When Death Do Us Part, and then you have that. It's kind of cool like that. I'm not sure I would use that color, like the olive sort of fabric. I might go with the gray, because the gray could really, depending on the color you choose, that black would pop. And then there's just a little bit of red you can see here and here. I would stitch, if I was going to stitch this, I'd stitch just the 2. I could totally see them framed. I think these frames are really kind of neat, but in like a hinged set of 2 frames, so that you'd have, and let's see, which way are they facing? I'd have them facing each other. So this one's facing one way and this is facing one way. So when I'd put them in the frames, you'd have it slightly hinged on the display and they would be looking at each other. And I think that would be so cool. If you see the outline around it, it's kind of like a heart kind of base design, and it's really lovely. But I can just visualize that, and you know, you could have that and then have some sort of Halloween kind of decor display right around it, and it'd be so much fun. Really neat. Okay, this next one is called River Styx. River Styx Yacht Club. And it is designed by Hannah Steele of Hannah Bridget Designs. So that's what it looks like. So that's a lot of fun. They show it, they use water-soluble canvas. There you go. To stitch this onto a t-shirt. The stitch itself looks super easy to stitch. I like it on the gray. I could also see it on kind of a deep bluish, if you wanted that kind of look. And I could really see this one. This would be a lot of fun on a bag. Like a canvas sort of bag or whatever. So I guess you'd do the same sort of thing if you use the water-soluble canvas and stitch it onto a bag. So that's fun. And it would be a pretty quick stitch, because I'm looking at the stitching, and you know, you're kind of, that's where you want a really thoughtful use of your fabric, because you're seeing a lot of it within the design. Okay, so the next one, see, this is the next chapter, and it's called Halloween Sampling. And so those are the 4 that we're going to look at next. And this is a section where I think you could really lean into 2 out of the 4, it looks like, could be non-Halloween if you wanted to not stitch them as Halloween. And this first one is fun. This one, I think what if you just take out the faces of the jack-o'-lanterns and just stitch the pumpkins as is? I did notice, one thing I noticed, there's several different things like Weeks Dye Works or some hand-dyed flosses in here. They do give the DMC alternatives in parentheses. So for those of us like me who are DMC stitchers, there's still an option. And as always, make some of these your own, especially these smaller pieces. You can use kind of things that you have. But I could totally see, I'm trying to see what that is at the bottom. I could totally see stitching this and having, you could even take out, I don't know if you want to call this a crow, a raven, whatever it is. You could take that out and do another pumpkin right there if you really wanted to, right in the middle. And then if you wanted to change the color of the leaves, I mean, the leaves are red-ish. I don't know if that's supposed to be kind of like a Halloween-ish thing, but either have non-jack-o'-lantern pumpkins with the bird or take the bird out, and you could easily have a fun little fall sort of piece in kind of like that sampler fashion. This next one, I really tried to get a good picture for you because this one really is a lovely piece that could easily not be Halloween and just be kind of like a fall piece. Let me put these pieces of paper over here. So this one here is called All Hallows Eve, and it is designed by L. Noonan of Stitch Sprout. And I have it kind of crooked there. So this one would be easy to make non-Halloween. Instead of the bats in the moon, just stitch the moon full. And again, you could go, if you wanted to do, I think, I would see, so there the moon is a bunch of different kind of colors, because you can see it's almost like a, oh, I don't know. I want to say like a light tan. You could just make the moon, you know, maybe if you had a really fun variegated floss you wanted to use, or if you wanted to keep it a single color, you could do sparkle within there. Maybe one sparkle, one not, kind of two strand sort of thing, however you wanted to do it. So if you take out the bats, and then I don't know here what that would be. I don't know if that's supposed to be a bat or not. If I was concerned about not doing it Halloweenish, I'd just take that out. And I mean, the house, you just stitch it as is all the way down. This one here, I think I would do it, All Hallows Eve. Let me make sure my notes here. A little bit more navy or gray. If you kind of wanted like a grayish night. But if you wanted to take yourself out of that kind of Halloween feel, I would go with a different color. You might even be able to find a really kind of cute neutral if you wanted to really take it into the fall sort of autumn piece. Obviously with the moon, it kind of lends itself. But you could even do, you know, take the moon out. You could probably go a neutral color, and you could have a cute little mini town right there. I'm just thinking off the cuff, but I think that would be adorable. So this one's very versatile, either as Halloween or if you'd like to take it at Halloween. So that's fun. All right, next one. Next one is called Haunted Hill, and it's designed by Julia Rosenberg of Cotton Pixels. And I think it's really cute as is, to be honest with you. I like the color fabric that they chose. Let me see. This one is called Eucalyptus by Atomic Ranch. It is a 28 count. So again, I don't know other types of that. Might be a different color. If I was stitching it, I think I would take out the bat border. So it would be a cute little small 10, 20, 30... maybe like a 37 by 10, 20, 30, almost like a 37 by 40. So it'd be a cute little square, even as is, without the bat border. I could totally see doing that. Next one. All right, where are my cat fans again? Ooh, this one's a little bit crooked, even when I edited it. Sorry about that. This is called October Gathering, and the design is by Nicoletta Ferruto of Nikki's Creations. Super cute. For me, if I was to stitch this, I think it would be really, really cute if I just did the two cats with the, I don't even know if I do all the pumpkins. I could see doing just the larger middle pumpkin and put the two cats on either side. And then it would be your choice what, oops, I'm sorry, I'm hitting my little thing here. Didn't mean to bump you there. Your choice whether or not you wanted to do that bottom stitch border. I think that would be whichever way you wanted to do it. And I think you could say non-Halloween for that, frankly. And you could do, like, if you wanted to get away from the orange, you could do, I don't know if those are, if the cats are holding kind of like a yarn in their mouths, you could just take that out. Or you could do a different color, and I would stitch the pumpkin without the face, and there you go, you have a fall piece. So again, a good way to make that non-Halloween. If you choose. I mean, if you love Halloween, lean into it. I think that's a lot of fun. I just think it's nice to be able to give everybody choices, especially if you're a subscriber. Don't write this issue off because you're not a Halloween stitcher. I think you could get a lot out of it. Okay, this next one here is Halloween Barn Quilt. Isn't that pretty? And this is designed by Sarah Louise Greer of Wickham Cottage. And this, she uses a 28 count linen from Picture This Plus, and I do like that color. Obviously, the linen would dye differently than other types of fabric, but I bet you could find something along those lines. Again, easily non-Halloween. Take out the spider, the cobwebish up here, and just stitch as is, you know, whatever color the barn is. What is this charted in? DMC or Sullivan's? You could also do your own for the barn if you wanted. Take out that spider, and I think that's it. You could also just stitch the barn as is. Take out the moon and either keep or take out those. Have just the barn. I would probably do it on more of a neutral, and you'd have a really cool autumn piece. If you have other pieces that have kind of barn quilts that mix and match, I think this would fit really nicely in, and you could easily do it without saying it's just Halloween. And the with or without moon would be totally your choice. But if you take the moon out, I could totally see this in more of a neutral fabric, and I think that would really show off nicely. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit careful taking my Post-it note off of that one. All right, where are my cat people again? This is definitely the cat issue, which I guess makes sense, right? Halloween, black cats, all of that kind of thing. This is designed by Nancy Waller of Faithwork Designs. And I think it's so cute. Super, super cute. I myself probably wouldn't stitch it as is. What I would do, I would take the cat on the fence with the moon, and I would take the cat in the moon and stitch them on their own. And I would make them ornaments. And I think they would be so cute. So the cat on the fence, now this is ish. I did a quick count, would be 42 by 33. And I mean, and then go to town. What are your favorite background fabrics? Just make sure on this one that the white from the fence, or you could even, I mean, if you wanted to, you could make the fence a different color. You probably wouldn't want to do it black because the cat's black unless you've changed that. But if you wanted to make it a different, like grayish or something, then everything would pretty much pop on things. But make sure that white pops. And then this little guy up here, so again, there are, and you know, it's hard for me even looking on the camera when you look at it, but you've got the cat on the moon, and you can see he's reaching for some stars. So again, you'd probably want something, because you'd want some of those, because otherwise he's kind of sitting on the moon, and what's he reaching for, right? When I did my counting to give you an idea of what that would be, I did count, I think I did some of the background of this, and then here. I mean, obviously, you could do your own counting. But it came out to be about 35 by 35. And again, just make sure you do something dark enough that you could really see those stars. Because clearly that's what he's, the little cat's reaching for. And I mean, sparkle. Sparkle it up however you want. Whether you sparkle the moon, sparkle the stars. I think that would be a lot of fun. So there's a lot you can do as is, or break this up and make some adorable, adorable small pieces on this one. Alrighty. So next one is called Ghoulish Grins, and I'm going to show you on the iPad because part of the pattern actually is underneath the picture, because the picture is pretty good, but I don't want to have to worry about showing the pattern. So here you can see you've got the 3 different kind of black cat skull pumpkin that you kind of think of for Halloween, and they kind of all have those grins. The first, I really like it vertical, but the first thing I thought would be they'd be kind of cool horizontal. I don't know why in a row my brain just goes in that direction, but I think that would be kind of cute. Now this is stitched on a, okay, so it's stitched on a 28 count. I'm just looking, because the other thing I was thinking, could you make teeny tiny pieces out of just those 3 elements? I think that would be a lot of fun too. They'd be small, 20 by like 26, say for the cat I'm looking at. The skull might be a little bit narrower, but you get the point. So you could stitch as is. You could, it'd be cute framed too. It's kind of, it's set on a board, but I think that'd be cute as a frame, up and down, sideways. I could see putting it almost like on a cube or a flat fold, or then you could do them individually as well. That'd be a lot of fun. So lots of options and lots of ways. That's what's really fun about these magazines, is there's so many ways to do these stitches that it's endless, the possibilities. Haunted Handiwork is the next chapter of smalls that we're going to look at, and those are the 4 that we're highlighting. All right, so the first one is called The Graveyard, and that is designed by Kara Brown of the Elfin Forest. And I have to say, I love the purple. If you're not a purple person, I could see this as a good navy blue, sorry. I mean, you could do gray, but you just have to be careful of the stones down there. They might fold. A nice, deep, rich color would be a lot of fun. And you could add some sparkle to the moon if you wanted. But I myself really do like that deep purple. I think that's a lot of fun. Okay. The next one is called Frankly, and that is designed, we got a little Frankenstein here, that is designed by Barbie Lowe of Twisted Willow Designs. I myself would probably not do the words. So it says, frankly, I love stitching. I love Halloween stitching. I don't know if I know I wouldn't do that. Now, the next question, would I do the ghosts or not? If I did, I would put some sort of little, like they have a heart up there. You could do some little elements. They have kind of, what's the stitch there? Oh, it's just straight stitches where they have, I don't know if you can see it, but like around the ghost, there's some straight stitches. You could do some sort of specialty kind of thing around there. But I think just stitching him would also be really cute. I think I would lean into a slightly different color than the lighter purple. I think I'd lean into either a gray. I'm really feeling navy with a lot of these pieces, but that just is me, because you know how much I love blue. So there's that one. All right, next. This is a cute little small. It's called Halloween Friends. It's designed by Dara Whitlock of World on a String. And I think I would square it off as opposed to keeping it. I do like the fabric choice. I could see this one. It is small. You could make this one if you were doing a trading card swap and you had a Halloween theme or ghosts or bats or pumpkin, whatever it was. This one would work because it's only a 29 by 24 piece. So if you needed a quick small to stitch up for somebody, I'd be great. If you wanted it as a trading card, it would be just perfect. I think that would be a lot of fun. Alrighty. I have to be really careful. This adhesive, my Post-it notes, is really strong. This next one right here is called October 31st, or 31, I should say. Now, you look at this and you say, this is absolutely Halloween. Yes and no. Take out everything and just stitch the pumpkins. And the pumpkins themselves are 46 by 51, so they're a good size. And there's nothing Halloween about them. You could easily make that, put it on a good neutral, especially, and make it as a fall piece. Whether it was an ornament, whether it was a little pillow, that would be really cute. Lots of different options with that. And I think if I was to stitch this one, that's how I'd stitch it. In October for my birthday, we have a pumpkin birthday Sal. And you just stitch on anything pumpkins. So if you'd want to join in October and stitch just pumpkins, join me. But that's how I would approach this one. It's super cute as is, but for me, the pumpkins are the star of this piece. And I would kind of I would change it completely up and make it non-Halloween. Alrighty, next one here, I can show you the magazine. And this is a design by Amy Graff by Color Me Amy Cross Stitch. Or is it X Stitch? Yes, Color Me Amy X Stitch. I want to make sure I get it right. Isn't that cute? I think that's really lovely. I myself, because I don't do a lot on, it's an oatmeal. Actually, the oatmeal is kind of lovely because it's not just a straight white. So if you're a big fan of the oatmeal fabric, I think you couldn't go wrong on that. I probably might lean into more of a gray. The ghost is outlined, so you could just have a lot of fun. I probably wouldn't go a super heavy gray. A lighter gray or like a bluish gray would look lovely. And I know myself, I'm not sure I'd stitch the border. I think I would just stitch the words plus the bats and the moon. But that's just me. Borders are optional in my stitch world. I know some of you absolutely love borders. Some of you never stitch borders. I'm kind of an in-between, I have to say. All right, let me put this set of notes over here. I have 2 pages of notes on this magazine. There's 41 page designs, but there are, I think, 3 of those sets of designs that have multiples. So you have close to 50 items in this magazine. So it's really chock-a-block. This one is called Stay Spooky. And it is stitched on, actually it's stitched on plastic canvas, and they use Presencia cotton floss. It says you can also use, they have a DMC alternative. And I'm not sure, they use a 14 count plastic canvas. I really have never stitched on plastic canvas, so I don't know how many strands you would need for that. And I don't know, does plastic canvas come in other counts besides 14? Those are things I don't know. I could easily see this stitched on perforated paper instead. They have it on a, I have to take my glasses up to see. It's an unfinished wood pumpkin cutout, and they tell you where you can get it, and then you have to paint it. I could see totally making this on perforated paper and making it an ornament. That would be super cute. So that's a lot of fun. I mean, and you're stitching all of it. It is a full coverage, but it's a small full coverage. It is 57 by 67. So certainly doable and lots of fun. I think that's really cute. Next one here. I love their fabric choice. Just perfect. This is called Baba Yaga's Hut, and it is designed by Jen Nelson of the Stitch Script. And she just picked a beautiful fabric. She used a fabric from Witch's Garden Crafts, but this color I know you can find from multiple hand dyers, I'm sure. But it just makes everything pop. And she has it kind of as a hanger. I could see this one really lovely, just a nice solid black frame, and I would, as they do, make sure you show a good portion of the fabric, because it just makes the piece pop. But I think this one on that kind of that deep green is perfect. So that's really lovely. Alrighty, next. Here we have another section of the little chapter of smalls. It's called The Witching Hour. So these are the 4 that we're going to look at next. Now this first one's called Witch's Apron. And it's so cute. But I feel like I would change it slightly, I have to say. Now this one is stitched on perforated paper. And so again, because it's shaped, it's stitched on, I think it's a antique brown, but all of that is stitched. So what makes that interesting is you could use any colors for your apron, because this top part is one color and this part is another color. So you could go to town on that. I understand why these little pieces of ribbon are here to kind of signify the apron. I feel a little, I would feel uncomfortable with my finish. I would feel like it's still lacking something that way, so I wouldn't put those on myself. The other thing I thought about is you could just cut it off right here at the top of that spider web, excuse me. And then what I would do is I would just extend the broom handles up to match the same height as the cobweb. Or what you could do is make it a square and have the cobweb go kind of to more of the corners, and then just before stop those right there. And so that way it's no longer the apron idea if you wanted it more as an ornament or a pillow or lots of different things like that. I think that's the direction I would go on that. It's a cute idea as like a witch's apron. I just myself feel I would go a little bit in a different direction, but that's just me. I mean, if you love it, go for it. Little Witch Apprentice is the next one, and it is designed by Amanda DeLong of Bad Stitch. Isn't that cute? A little mouse on a broom. This fabric was a lovely choice. It's actually from Witch's Garden Crafts again. Obviously a great choice for hand-dyed fabrics for Halloween. I think I've seen some printed ones that are similar to this as well, depending on if you couldn't get from one hand dyer, and I'm sure you could get lots. I really do like the movement of the gray with the light and the dark. I think what I would do, if you look close, and I don't think, yeah, so it is all just regular, either DMC or Sullivan's is charted for. I would make this stuff sparkle. I think having some sort of like sparkly colored, whether it's a toile or any other types of flosses coming off of that broom would be super cute. Otherwise, I mean, I think it's a great choice of fabric for that piece. This one is, if you wanted to like give like superlatives, this one would probably get cutest piece out of the whole magazine. It's called Trick or Sweep, and it's just a cute little witch on her broom with her black cat. And this one could be a trading card, could easily be a trading card. It is 41 by 40. I could see it on like a sparkle opal fabric, which would be a lot of fun. They're doing it on white opal. I might lean into a color opal. But yes, if you were doing a swap of trading cards, that would be so much fun. Or you could even, if you didn't want to do it as a circle, you could finish it in a different shape as well. But this is, did I tell you? It's Andrea Betts of Flossy Fox Shop. Excuse me, that's who it's designed by. If in the course I have forgotten anybody, please let me know and I will make sure it's linked in the description box, or it'll be mentioned in the description box, because I would hate to have forgotten any of these wonderfully talented designers. Okay, this one here. This one's called Magic Beans Cafe, and it is designed by Elizabeth Spurlock of Saving Grace Fine Needle Arts. So cute. So it says Magic Beans Cafe, and then underneath it says for an enchanting brew. And that's backstitched. I would take that out. And I would just, what you could do, so you have there is a border. So there's one of two things you could do. If you wanted to stitch the border, just have it start rounding a little bit sooner. No problem. Or if you wanted to, you could take out 3/4 of it and just do the top if you wanted to kind of make that design. The other thing I would do is I would probably lean into, there we go. What fabric is this? This is a picture of this plus actually, linen. I most likely would lean into kind of like a purple, because I really would want those words, the Magic Beans Cafe, and the beans themselves to jump out a little bit more. And I think this would be super cute if you used it as like a flat fold, or I would do maybe a leaner. And if you have a coffee bar and you decorate around that area, this would be just perfect by that. and then lean into some more Halloween decor around your coffee bar, and you'd have a super cute little decor element right around that. I don't have a coffee bar. I just want to get one just to be able to do that, I think. All right, next. This one is called Toil and Trouble, and it is designed by Annie Craft of Dirty Annie's. Great fabric choice. This is a Bestitch Me. And I know a lot of hand dyers would have, if you couldn't get the Bestitch Me or whatever, there's a lot of hand dyers would have this kind of shade. I myself would square it off. But again, that's me. I like things. There's nothing really up here, so I think I could easily square it off. I generally like things in more straight lines. And that's just me and my brain. If you like it that way, I think it's super cute. I do think that fabric, though, that kind of fabric choice, those grays with maybe some shades of pinkish or purplish in there, very subtle, would look fantastic with that piece. You could probably go in another direction, but I feel like that is just really phenomenal as is. Okay, next. So this is an interesting one here. This one is a set of 4, and I think there's lots of things you could do with this. It's called Apothecary, and it is, I have to show you, it's a 2-page spread, and it is designed by Gretchen Myers of Noctiflora Designs. Now here they show the 4, so let me do this and I can show you 2 and 2. And they talk about getting some double-sided tape on putting them on whatever container you want. They look a lot of fun on the jars. So if you had different Halloween decor jars and you did some sort of display like this, you know, kind of like old, antique-y, rusty, well, dusty kind of look, they'd be a lot of fun that way. The other thing I thought of as soon as I saw them, as ages ago, I think it's Little Stitch Girl. So she has cute little plaid houses, and I think they were Christmas ones. And she had stitched them, and what she did was that she made them so that they were able to stick into a candlestick. And how cool if you had, take out the candle, if you had some candlesticks that had wax all the way down, and then you were able to do that, like maybe like a small black pole, so you don't have your stitching touching whatever this is, and then attach the stitching to it in the candlesticks. And you could have like different shapes and sizes. I think over here you have like a metal one, but think of like maybe like wrought iron, and if you did some sort of display with some cobweb with the candlesticks with the wax, I think that would be such a fun display. And I mean, you can lean into the bottles as well, that same sort of idea. But if you didn't want the bottles and you did want to do something like with candlesticks, if you already have that kind of display, I think that would work really cool too. Okay. Next, this one is called Witch's Supply Shelf. And it is designed by Jen Nelson of the Stitch Crypt. That's so fun. And I have to say, it is so fun as a frame. I really do like that one. I'd lean into a more gray background myself so that I feel like some of the things could pop a little bit. This would actually be fun too with a nice opal, a fun opal background, I think. And if you didn't want to frame it, you could also probably put it on like a cube of some sort. I think that would work as well. But I do like the frame. I think that's fun. And maybe mix it in, you know, if you had other patterns, like this is your witch's shelf kind of thing, a supply shelf, and you had other items of decor that match that, I think that would be fun nestled in among all that. Okay, next. This chapter, we're getting near the end, I promise, is called Trick or Treat. Yeah, and so here's the chapter with the 4 smalls we're looking at next. Alrighty, so let me go to the very first one. This one is called Work Hard, Play Hard. It's so cute. And it is designed by Jessie Schofield. Oops, excuse me there. And this one is done on a kind of a nocturne fabric, and I could see, I like the blue background. You could also probably do, well, you could certainly do like a gray, a purple, or if you wanted to kind of take it away from that a little bit, even a light green. I think she would be super cute to stitch. So you'd have her maybe holding the rake with the jack-o'-lantern and maybe just have leaves kind of floating. I wouldn't have the pile or anything. If you wanted something that was a little bit smaller, I could totally see that happening. All right, next one. This one here, I like as is. I don't think I would really change much. This is called Delightfully Spooky. I didn't do a great job taking a picture of this. The light kind of washed it out. It's washing it out a little bit. In the pattern itself, it's a much deeper blue. Let me show you it in the name. I'll bring it up close. You see how deep that blue is? I think those colors, both the oranges and then the purples, really pop against that color. And I'd be hard-pressed. They just use 14 count navy from Charles Craft. I'd be hard-pressed to change that one up a bit. You certainly could go with a fun gray if you wanted to. But I really think the whole nice block design of that works really nicely. And did I tell you, I'm sorry, Nick Swarren is the designer, and they're from Snailfish's Stitches. I was so excited to talk about the pattern, I almost forgot to tell you who designed it. So that's that one right there. Next, we have Mr. and Mrs. Trick or Treat, and this is from Annie Craft of Dirty Annie's. Very cute. I could see doing each one alone as a trading card. I think that would be super cute. Up and down wise, the height is 51 inches. So obviously you'd have to figure out what size fabric you could do that in. But they would be adorable trading cards. That is a fun, it's a Bestitch Me. It's called Mummy. It's a fun linen. It is a linen. I don't know what other fabrics would color that would do. Because there's like an orange to it, but it's also got a slight, maybe a grayish tone to it. And that's a fun kind of. So you could do them singly, ornaments that way if you wanted a long ornament, or you could make them, they wouldn't be super long if depending on what size fabric you chose, or you could do them together. This one is, I think it is shown on as an ornament. You could also, it'd be a cute leaner that way too. This one is called Peekaboo, and it is designed by Jennifer J. Redmond. I think this would be super cute without the words. I would probably myself just stitch it without the words. I think the words make the circle nice because without it, you'd have a big section here, but I myself would probably square it off anyway. And I think I would lean into like a more purplish background, but it is super cute. Alrighty, next. So this one here, I'm going to show you a page, but 2 of the 3 I can show you from the magazine straight, but the third one is over one of the patterns. So I want to show you then on the iPad as well. This is called it's called Halloween Tiny Totes. So what they did was they took these designs and they stitched them. What did they use? Did they say? They took black mini woven canvas totes. Looks like they found them at Hobby Lobby, according to this. And they stitched them, or they must have stitched them onto the little totes. So you could find them anywhere. It's, any kind of tote you found in any places would be cute. Now, these are tiny. Do they say what size they are? They say that they're minis. So the patterns itself are 51 by 51. I'll say 3.5 by 3.5. So they are small because you can see so it's not like these are like trick-or-treat bags or anything, but they could be cute as little if you were having a party and you wanted to do, so that's 2 of the 3. Let me show you the third one. If you wanted to do like little favors and you filled those in. Now, that's a lot of stitching for favors, but maybe it's just for 1 or 2 family members that are special that you could do. And then you could use that bag as a display instead. I could totally see stitching these. They could be ornaments, easily ornaments. They could be leaners. They could be pillows. They'd be super cute pillows. Yeah, put your pillows in maybe like some sort of Halloween display or decor. I could also see doing, where is my notes? Because I want to make sure I get it right here. These are Halloween tote trios. I didn't write it down. I was thinking it. How cute would this be if you put this one, say you had a candy bowl and maybe put a little bit of, I'd probably get the green, you know, the green floral styrofoam? Get one of those, stitch this and put it on, you know, like paint a popsicle stick black or some sort of stick black. Put that in there and then cover all of that with candy. How cute would that be as a Halloween decor? I think that would be so much fun. I don't do a lot of holiday decorating anymore. I mean, my kids are older, and so I kind of don't do it. But if I did, I think that would be a lot of fun, especially if you wanted like a bowl of candy out. And then, you know, if you made it big enough so that if somebody takes one piece of candy, they don't see the styrofoam. But you could finagle it somehow or other so that you could do that. All right, this one here screams Halloween, right? You could totally make this non-Halloween if you wanted to. This is the second to last one. This is called Spooky Skyline. It's designed by Sarah Gilbert of Mood Cross Patterns. And isn't it so much fun? So how do you make it non-Halloween? Well, you could just stitch this guy right here, take out the candy corns. Then, if you wanted to, so that could be like a fall kind of decor because you've got those fall colors. What if you wanted to make it summery, patriotic? Just change the colors of the balloons. How fun would that be? Maybe you wanted a spring sort of the cat, you know, change what fabric you're stitching it on and just change the color of the balloons, whatever kind of decor you want. And you don't need to put the stuff around it. You could just have them kind of floating in a balloon type of thing. So much fun. So definitely this one lends itself to multiple holidays. If you wanted to keep it fall, just take out the candy corns and all the other stuff. Just so many things to think about. Really, really a smart design that way. A lot of fun. All right, and then the very last, it's a cute little set here. These are from Frony Ritter, and they are called Spooky Brews. So let me show you. And they are like Frankenstein, Bat Brew, Pirates Pilsner, Spider Cider. And they did that because these are actually finished on, I guess, so when beer is made, there's some sort of top kind of thing that they use. And that these are stitched, designed to fit into those. I want to say they're like two, let me tell you, they're two, around, say 2x2-ish. Pirates Pilsner is a little smaller. But they're designed to fit into these little small pieces. And they used 18 count country mocha in order to do so. But you don't have to do that at all. You could use any type of like a tart tin and make it whatever size you want along those lines. You could just make them as fun ornaments. I thought what would be really, really neat, when my kids were small and I would send them in for Halloween, a lot of times what I like to do, a few times, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but a couple times what I did with my kids was I found like the flat Jolly Rancher lollipops. And I used stamps, obviously. And I stamped a design. I covered it with cardstock front and back, but then I put a stamp design on the front and on the back. You know, you could just put from Megan or from Connor or whatever I did back then. And then what I did was I took one of those styrofoam combs, I spray painted it, I think black, if I remember correctly. Oh, I did one for Valentine's and I spray painted it red too. And then you just stick the lollipop sticks in. Well, how fun would that be if you had, say you were having some sort of Halloween party, and these are obviously potentially adult beverages, right? But if you had some sort of display that you could make them as a round, put them like on lollipop sticks or something else, and you could spray paint them colors and stick them in some sort of styrofoam display, cover that up around again. You could do different sizes and, you know, stitch them multiple times, and that would be so much fun as a display for a party. I love that idea. I don't think I'm having a Halloween party this year, but if I did, I think that would be so much fun. And they're small, so they shouldn't take too long to stitch up. But again, if you or stitching them for a Halloween for a friend who happens to like beer of some sort. But even like Frankenstein, I mean, yes, it's designed in a Stein, but you know, it's not quite like the Pilsner, you know what I mean? So you could just have a lot of fun with those. I think that the nature of them, you could have a lot of fun with some sort of Halloween decor, or have them hanging, and you could do more than some and hanging from some sort of design with a decor. So that's it. That is all of the designs and all of the pieces in the magazine. I'm just going to double check for sure to make sure I didn't forget anything. They do have sections for finishing instructions for flat ornaments, pillow ornaments, hoop finishing, flat folds, all that kind of stuff. So there is options if you wanted to learn how to do some of that. And they show you in the back all of the different pieces and the page number that they can be found in. So that's a lot of fun. And then as always, we have super cute mill hills on the back if you wanted to do a little bit of shopping. So that is my take on the 2024 Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. Do you have a favorite? What do you like stitching? There's some that I think are really cute that I want to stitch, but I don't know what to start with and stitch with. What are your suggestions? What do you think I should do? And do we want to stitch one and join in? I think this one is super cute. Super cute. I don't know. I like the different framed pieces. You know, this one might be the first one. I don't know. I'm looking at it saying, oh, I like that. And I like that. So lots of fun, lots of choices. And if you are not a Halloween stitcher, no worries. I think there are lots of options for you in there as well that you could really lean into and have a lot of fun with. So let me hear your take. Have you seen it? Has my flip through intrigued you a little bit? What are you going to stitch first with it? Or are you stitching something along with other people already? You've already made a decision. I would love to hear in the description, in the comments, I should say. Let's talk about it, and let's talk Halloween stitching or fall stitching, or in a few cases, we can change up the holidays even, or the seasons. So let's do it. Let's talk. All right, until next time, happy stitching.